Welcome everybody to Flight School Connector. This episode, goals to get you to the goal. As always, I am Chris Moser, Senior Director of Flight Training Education here at AOPA, and I'm pleasantly joined today by Dan Justman. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Happy to work with you and the Flight Training Initiative, and also with the AOPA Ambassador team and the Rusty Pilots program as well. So great group of people. We get to make a difference in general aviation every day.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. And of course, both of us are joined behind the scenes by Steven Schroeder. Say, hey, Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, all right. So appreciate you being here. Before we get into all today's content, we just wanted to make sure we give a good shout out to our sponsor, Sporty's. Sporty's has got some great flight training courses. So if you're looking for something to help out your school, looking for a good private instrument commercial syllabus, etc., check it out. The details are right there on the screen. And note in that lower right-hand corner, if you have any questions or want to get more information, talk to mark.w@sportys.com. You can reach right out and get in touch with them. So one of the things we wanted to talk about last time we did a show on SWOT analysis. Dan, can you just give us a quick reminder of what that was?
Yeah, SWOT analysis. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's basically a way for you to get started, to identify where you're at, what your business is doing, what's working, what's not, and then draw parallels to ways that you can make improvement on there. So it's the baseline step one, where are you at right now?
Good. And I know we talked a lot about we want to be on track as a business, as a school, and so what can you do to identify, and especially where can we then start to move?
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Show some pathways to head towards and work on.
We have a whole video on us explaining that, so check out the description below. You'll see the link to that one, and so then if you haven't seen that, go check it out and then come back to this one. All right. So what I wanted to do today was a little bit of a follow-up to that. If you've identified something that you'd like your school to do, maybe it's you've identified that customer service has been a problem, we want to do something to improve that, or maybe it's reaching out to the community. We use an example in that other video about a local high school or something like that.
Sure.
You obviously want to start to design the goal of where you want to go with that, and that's what we want to talk about today. Now, for this first part, I wanted to borrow a little bit on my teaching background because I taught for a very long time in schools and also as a flight instructor. And there is a great teaching philosophy or teaching process called understanding by design. Sometimes people call it flipping, sort of like flipping goal design or flipping the curriculum. And what we want to do here is that we want to really take a look at the big picture of what we want and then design the goals and all the things that we do. In the case of a classroom, all the things we're going to do to reach those end goals, well, I was thinking to myself, a business could do the exact same thing.
Sure.
Figure out where you want to be and then design every activity that you do as a business to bring you to that goal. And so there are three basic steps, and you'll see there's a link here on the screen, but if you look in the description below, you'll see that same link so you can click and get this white paper on understanding by design. So the three basic steps. Number one, identify your desired results. Say, for example, you're trying to improve customer service. What do you want that to look like? So you're really going to think about what is this going to look like, really get into detail of how we would like to improve that, the improvements that we would like to see. Then from there, you say, okay, this is our goal. This is what we want it to look like. How are we going to know when we achieve that? So that's that second step, determine the assessment evidence. And again, I know that the white paper is going to talk in classroom terms, but I very much think you could, just with a little creative thinking, you could very much apply this to running a business and running your school. So determine the assessment evidence. What are you going to see when you know that you've reached your goal? So if it was improved customer service, maybe the assessment evidence is surveys that you're using. You're seeing the improvements coming from those. You're seeing maybe a change in attitude. You're seeing maybe you're looking for a measurable way to change how your staff interacts with customers on the phone or online, that sort of thing. So you're going to determine that assessment evidence. Then, and this is the part that for me as a teacher was so powerful, is that after you figured out where it is you want to go, you can plan everything that you do around driving towards that goal. So in the case of this, you obviously, for this to happen, let's say you're trying to improve customer experience, trying to improve customer service, your staff is going to be the one that's going to deliver that. It's going to be your CFIs, your front office or your front desk staff, and then anybody else who might be in contact with them. So you're going to then think, how am I going to make changes in the policies, the things that we do, the training that I give to my employees so that we can then start to see this evidence of better customer service as one example.
So you're almost reverse engineering it. So you're starting with the goal, starting with what you want to accomplish, and then you're kind of backtracking it into how are we going to get there?
That's
What
a
piece it's going to take.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Reverse engineering it. So start with what you want to see,
Yeah.
and then create everything you want to
Sure.
get you there. So it's just a kind of a flipping it around. I found this to be incredibly powerful when I was teaching. That said, I know
Mhm.
that when we were brainstorming, talking about this next step of like sort of setting these goals, one of the things that you brought up
Yeah.
with is a classic, but it's a powerful one,
Right.
which is a SMART goal. So Dan, tell us how we could use maybe SMART goals, and it could
Sure.
even be a part of this process.
Sure. SMART goals, age-old, tried and true, tested strategy and system. It's just an acronym. SMART is just an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So those things will help get your goals worthwhile. It'll help get you on track and get them to actually be effective versus just some kind of pie-in-the-sky idea. So we'll start with specific. The first one right off the bat. 5 W's is a great way to help figure that part out. You want them to be simple, sensible, significant, but it's the who, what, why, where, which. Those types of things will help you dial in exactly what it is you're going to be shooting towards. So it's not just like, oh, we want to get better. It's like, well, what does better mean?
Right.
To your point, an example of improving customer service, I'm with you 100%. You could measure a change in survey results over a period of time. So specifically, we want to improve our customer service response rates. We want to improve customer service. Not just we want to do better, but we want to do better with this goal, with this, because that's going to make a difference for our organization. Next is measurable. You need to know how much, how many. With sales and things like that, it's relatively easy. You can
Right.
say, yeah, we want to sell X amount at this time frame, but it could get a little more of a gray area. The customer service is a great one on that, but you just measured the change over time. So it's a 5% increase on overall customer service, or we've improved 2 points depending on how your survey is based. But those type of things are great ways to make sure that it's measurable. If you can't measure it, how are you going to know if you succeed, right? Also, it needs to be achievable. It needs to be
Right.
attainable. It
Right.
can't be this outrageous, crazy.
A 200% increase, right? Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, or even perfection. You know, we always feel like we're striving for perfection in everything we do in our personal lives and in our work lives, but you know, perfection is a great thing to strive for, but it's not a very good goal
Right.
because you're going to come up short, right? We're not going to get there. Hopefully you get there in some of the things you're doing, but it's not a realistic goal, so it needs to be achievable. And also the R in SMART goals needs to be relevant. So what does that mean? Well, relevant means, does it make sense for us to be working on this? If we've got a great student pilot completion rate, maybe that's not the type of thing that we really need to set a goal on there. Maybe
Right.
it's something else. Maybe it's bringing more students in and more volume. So is this relevant to our business needs and to what we should be working on for that?
And
Uh,
maybe even that understanding by design concept helps keep it relevant. You
there you
know
go.
what you're striving for,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Does it seem worthwhile?
Right.
That's a great way to help to answer that. Does it fit in line with other things that we're doing with the company and where we're headed for the with the business in our school? And the last is time bound. You got to have a target date. You need to have something to work towards, and you also need to know when you're done.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just going to keep going and going and going, and you'll be measuring to the end of days. But it gives you something, a deadline gives you something to focus on and something to work towards, something very specific on that. So really, in the end, the SMART goals, great theory, great concept. It'll help provide clarity and focus, and it'll help motivate you and your staff to make a real difference in your business.
And honestly, this very much reminds me for our CFIs out there, when you went through the fundamentals of instruction and learned how to write objectives as part of that. If you look at them, they are kind of
Hmm.
going to be SMART goals. So it's a
Right.
really good way to make sure you hit all the key components.
Yeah.
So I think if you were to take this idea of the understanding by design and kind of reverse engineering
Hmm.
how to get to your goal, and then use these SMART goals to then drive what it is you're trying to get towards, I think this is going to be a pretty good thing, so
Yeah.
try it out.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we would love to hear what you think. And by the way, if you want to learn more about SMART goals, check out the link. I saw on the slide right there, but we will put it in the description so you can just click on it and see that. We'd love to hear what you think about this and if you find this helpful. That said, please let us know as well. What do you need? What would you like to hear from us? Is there anybody you'd like to hear from us, or a topic you'd like us to discuss? Just let us know. You can email us at ftinitiative@aopa.org, and that'll come straight to the team. Other than that, Dan, thanks for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks for the
Appreciate
opportunity.
I appreciate everybody's time, and we will see you in the next video.